Hey, welcome to today's broadcast from the Section 2 Sports Studio, the summer home. By way of introduction, my name is Sean Martin. I've been a freelance sports writer with the Albany Times-Union since 2007, regularly cover a wide variety of high school sports in addition to D1 college hockey, RPI, and Union. I've also authored a couple of books, Dearly and Manoa, Letters from Daddy, and also The Three Bulls, both available on Amazon. Our goal here at Section 2 Sports Podcast is to highlight the best in Section 2 sports, teams, coaches, the student athletes from around the 518 that deliver the best stories week in and week out and give more of a spotlight than I can do in a typical 600-word newspaper article that I'm lucky enough to be able to author up for the TU. This is episode 6 of our summer series. And with that, we will welcome in our guest, Saratoga head football coach Eric Hayden and senior-to-be quarterback Bobby Morris. Gentlemen, happy July afternoon.
Yes, thanks for having us.
Coach, how you doing, buddy?
Sorry, I just heard you, but thanks for having us.
Sure thing. Just to recap Saratoga's year in 2025, you finished 11-3, entered the Section 2 playoffs as the 3 seed, avenged both of those regular season losses in the playoffs, a semifinal win over Shen, and then a big-time 14-13 upset over CBA in the playoffs and the finals in the driving rain. Got all the way to the JMA Wireless Dome. Don't call me Carrier Dome. In Syracuse, you lost to the 3-time defending state AA champs, CBA Syracuse. Coach, just go back to last year for a few minutes, and what was that ride like with with your team? Bobby, how about you?
So last year it was one hell of a ride. Going into the season, we were all super excited knowing that we had a really experienced group. A lot of seniors on the team, and a lot of leadership as well. In those first couple weeks, we really understood that this could be our year. And so our head was down the rest of the season. And over the course of the season, we had some big matchups and big wins against Shaker, and those really added up and showed us that we could do something special. And so we stayed disciplined, we stayed committed, practice as hard as we could, and ended up making it into the playoffs as the 3 seed, like you mentioned. Having a rematch against Shen, our rival, the following week after we lost to him, which honestly was a blessing in disguise. And so we went back down there, ended up pulling through, getting the dub, and that sent us to the championship. And CBA, that I think they're 4 or 5 in a row section champs, and so we knew it was going to be tough, but we like playing as the underdog. It allows us to play loose and free, and I think as a team last year, that's what we fed off. And so that game, also with it being delayed in the rain, I think that also helped us as well. And so that was one of the probably best games I've ever been a part of. Pulling off that win, pulling off the upset, and then advancing all the way to the state championship after that and playing another CBA was also an incredible experience. But unfortunately, we were not able to get that win and pull off that upset, but that would have been really cool.
Yeah. Coach, what's your biggest memory from the 2025 season with the team you put together? Coach, can you hear me? I don't know if he can hear us, Bobby. We'll work on that.
Yeah, I don't know what's going on his end.
Bobby, but back to you. When you
Yeah, I can't. Can you guys hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. Yeah, can you hear us?
I can't hear you guys.
Okay. I'll text you, okay? Bobby, when did you think you had something special during the year?
That's a good question. I feel like as the year went on, that feeling, that kind of understanding that we did have something special kept building. And so right from the gate, that off season, we were working, on the turf, extra hours, all that stuff, skills practice, lineman practice. That was the true foundation of it all, where it all started. And then after that, I think those big games that we ended up winning, I would say the biggest one was against Shaker, a team that we really haven't beaten in a couple years. That always has a good team, always, are in the playoffs. Pulling off that win at Shaker in a big game, I think really gave the team some confidence heading into the final stretch of games down the end of the season there.
All right, Coach Hayden's having a few difficulties hearing us. We're going to keep trying with him as we proceed. Coach, any better?
Yeah, I got you now.
Awesome. Great. You never know with this stuff, right?
No.
Coach, I was talking to Bobby. What's your biggest memory on the 2025 season? You were part of a Section 2 champ in 09 for the Blue Streaks. And what was that year like for you last year?
Yeah, honestly, it was the year I walked into the season saying to myself that I'm good enough to coach this team to a championship. So I carried a lot of that pressure with me throughout the year. And I think as a young head coach, there was still a lot of things that I was learning through the year. We got off to a good start, beating Monroe Woodbury, who didn't lose a game in their section. But then as time went on, every team we battled in Section 2, it was pretty tight. It was pretty close. And we made it to the state championship, but we weren't blowing anybody out. And there were some things that I was learning as we went on, and I could also see that my staff was developing and getting a little bit tighter together, and we were starting to get more on the same page. Now, a lot of us in year 3, and it wasn't until after that first Shen game where we really sat at a table and had a lot of hard conversations, and really beat our head against the wall to say, what are we going to do differently? How are we going to be different, change? And, then we came up with the plan, but phase 2 was trying to get the players to do that. And after we played that game, it was very obvious that, hey, our guys, they can do what we ask them to do. And that's hard in high school football. I know that sounds
Sure.
pretty easy, but there's times where you're always talking about put too much on the kids, don't do too much. It's like, yeah, you guys can know that as coaches, but can your players understand that too? And that's always the challenge and the balance. But last year, our group could do whatever we asked them to do. And I think that made things a lot easier on us as we continued to roll through. I think there was a lot of maturing that was happening in those games too. In one way, I actually looked at that first Shen loss as actually a blessing in disguise, because that motivated our team and made our team a little bit more hungry. And they played with a "I'm going to punch you in the mouth" attitude from there on out. After we beat that Shen team, the confidence just went through the roof, and there wasn't one person talking about not beating CBA.
Yeah.
After, I think one of the best memories that I'll have is the last play of that Super Bowl game. Obviously, I remember a lot of it, but just remembering the situation, remembering that down, remembering how hard it was pouring, and then watching that ball go out of bounds, and then realizing it's over, the time is going to run out. It was hard to believe, and you look at the sideline, you look at everyone's reaction. We're jumping up and down. A lot of people are like, "Oh my God, did we just do this?" Kind of look on your face. And I've said this 1,000 times, but Bobby came up to me looking at his play card, trying to come up with the next play, and I had to look at Bobby and say, "Take a knee." And he looked at me like, goes, "What?" I go, "Yeah, we did it. Take a knee."
Victory formation, right?
Our
Yeah.
center, we didn't have a ball out there, so our center didn't have the ball because we're all just celebrating. So now I'm worried that we're going to get a delay of game penalty, which somehow is going to end up stopping the clock, which gives them one opportunity. So I'm just freaking out. Um, And then obviously after that game, like I was just speechless. I couldn't. I was so proud of the guys. And then that run that we put on after,
Yeah.
we were down at half against Middletown, and then we made adjustments that we've never made before, and we're like, let's do it. And again, another example, guys could just go do it, and ended up those adjustments ended up being absolutely spot on, and we come out and scored 2 touchdowns quick and got out of there with a win. Um, then just our going to Mamaroneck, another team that was ranked higher than us. Um, Pre-game, I've never seen a team more confident. Our team was walking around like there was no chance we were losing that game, and we always talk about like how confident they came off the bus, and that's how they showed it, ripping off 21 points right away, and there was no needing to motivate that team. They're ready to go. Um, we'll always have memories of being in the state championship. That was a blast. I think we'll always regret not starting a little bit faster, but we'll always be proud of how hard we fought in that second half and how we gave them a run.
Now, I had your game at Shaker in September, and
Yeah.
Benjamin Correa had that big night. Bobby and I were talking off camera that he didn't have to do a lot that night. Your ground game was just unstoppable. After that game, I interviewed you. You were almost emotional. I think what did that win coming off the loss to CBA, 40-21? I think the week before. What did that win mean to your team as the season progressed?
So there's two parts to that. One part you didn't know. I got into a really bad car accident with my family that the team didn't know about.
Oh, wow.
The week leading up, and I didn't want to let my team know, and I didn't want it to be a distraction. So I'm going to practice, and like my wife's in the hospital and stuff like that, and we're just, it was a lot out of me emotionally that week. Some of the linemen were like, dang, that was a tough week by Coach Hayden. um, so when we won, it was kind of a release of like stuff I've been building up and carrying.
Sure.
And then the second part of that is, as a coach, there's milestones that you have to hit. And I look at the last time we beat Shaker, it's been a while. And I was sick of the losing. I was sick of like not beating teams that have had our number. And I believed we had the guys to do it, and I believe we had the coaching staff do it. And now it was just time to do it, and we
Yeah.
did. So that was a lot of pressure off of us, and it was another moment where kids were like looking around, like, "Hey, we can do this."
Yeah. Coach, I hope everybody's recovered from the car accident for sure.
I appreciate it. Thank you. Yeah, we're doing well now. Very lucky.
Hey, Bobby, you're getting ready to enter your third year as the starter for the Blue Streaks, and you take your experience from 25, and also I know with quarterbacks, to me, reps is everything. How does last year and your 2 years as starter translate to the upcoming season?
Yeah, so like you said, experience is everything, especially as a quarterback. My first year, my sophomore year, I was a little happy on my feet, with not really any varsity experience. The game is just so fast that year. You're not really, you're just kind of going out there and thinking a lot. A lot of stuff's on your plate. And then the next year it slows down a little bit, which I do think helped us out, especially as the season went on. I do remember early in the season I was playing way too fast. The game was not coming to me like I felt like it should have been. But later in the year, the game definitely slowed down for me, and I was able to do a lot more, and play more confident as well.
Yep.
And that really goes to show like this upcoming year that hopefully the game slows down even more. And that experience, like being lucky to have 3 years, potentially under my belt, will really help me, and slow the game down, like I said, and help my teammates out as well.
Well, now how about this year? You had 5 senior starters on the O line last year. What is your experience to help some of the new starters come in? I assume they've been on the varsity for at least a year or so, but how do you help the other guys transition?
Yeah, so there's going to be some big holes to fill. Unfortunately, we are losing our whole offensive line. But these new guys coming in, I'm super confident for, super excited for. I've seen them; they've been working all summer, showing up to almost every single thing that you could think of. And I've been watching them improve each and every time they step on the field. And so my biggest thing is, I don't want them to play, I want them to have confidence and not play tight and tentative. So when I'm out there, I do sometimes tell them, like, just slow down, have fun and play loose, because I think that with last year's group, I think they played with a lot of confidence, which helped them out as well. And so hopefully this group can obtain that pretty fast as well.
Coach, how much does it help you? Also replacing Benjamin Corrier, the state's leading rusher last year. How much does it help the team and you as the coach having a veteran quarterback back there in Bobby?
Yeah, honestly, I think it's going to help a lot. Bobby and I do a lot of work together, and sometimes we're finishing each other's sentences, and I can say something, or like we run a play, and you know, something was closed that we thought was going to be open, but that means something else open, and we both know what it is. Or I can just say, hey, we're going to go here the next time we run this, and he's able to understand, and I think that's going to help us out tremendously. I think this year too, now that he's not worried about the X's and O's, the thinking, the pressure as much, is that he's also going to be able to be that vocal leader a little bit more in the huddle. Like, all right, guys, calm down. We
Yeah.
got this, one play at a time, and be able to read his teammates and know what they need to hear in those critical moments. And then, to add to Bobby, is Bobby's part of the reason why the culture is getting great, is that he's just such a hard worker and he puts in all the time. So, like, guys, when he speaks, they listen, and that's huge for us.
Now, Cam Toomey he's a hot topic on the recruiting trail. Honestly, I meant to get my Nebraska jersey out today. I've been tweeting at Matt Rule all week. When I saw Cam had the Husker logo on one of his social media posts. What's it like having an athlete like that, and his recruiting profile? How much does that help his teammates get some eyes on them and seeing what they're doing too?
Honestly, yeah. First off, Cam's an amazing young man who works really hard at his craft. In terms of like some of the challenges that come with him is, me doing drills with him in practice where he picks me up and throws me down with one hand, and he's like 16 years old, so that's embarrassing. But that's when it's different.
Yeah.
And then it's been in terms of his recruiting ground, it's been an awesome experience. I've enjoyed having conversations with him regarding, the way he feels about things, and the how those things have changed over the last year. And then also me just learning the process as well as a young coach a little bit more too, getting a better eye of what these coaches are really looking for, what they really want, and then giving that to the rest of our players and setting them up for the future as well. There was moments where we had some of our guys like Bobby and Gavin out there doing workouts, with Michigan State, while Cam was getting worked out at Michigan State, but like they got to do it too. And it was like that was a cool experience for them to get meet a guy from that level, and do some drills with them, and it also helped Cam have to take a breather in between reps and get prepared. So it's been a great experience overall.
All right, and Bobby's it. We talked a little off camera. What's it like having Cam on your sidelines? You're the only Section 2 quarterback on your schedule that doesn't have to worry about getting chased down by him. And just talk about him as a peer, and what kind of teammate and athlete is he from your view?
Yeah, he's a beast. Going up against him in practice is pretty fun. Knowing that he can't hit me in practice is also nice, but if he was hitting me, it wouldn't be as nice. But yeah, he is special. like I was talking before, I didn't really get a chance to watch him until recently. And it is a big difference. There's, levels to this stuff, and Cam's on a much higher level than most of us are. And then having him on my side, is a big um, key to success as well. Always having him there, like trusting him, and then also having him in the backfield sometimes as well, handing him the ball, and watching him just run people over. Being a year younger as well, it's pretty funny to watch. But he's huge, and he's doing great things, and he's helping us out as well in the recruiting process, bringing in coaches,
Yeah.
and getting a lot of eyes on me, and then a bunch of other players as well. So he's been helping us out a lot.
Well, guys, both of you, just let Cam know that Lincoln, Nebraska is a beautiful place in the fall. So,
We'll
now,
do.
Bobby, last year you got your legs going in some of those postseason games, and is that something you want to do more and kind of get a little more running in there as along with your passing on offense?
Yeah, for sure. I think running is a big key piece to my game. And last year during the regular season, we didn't really have a backup quarterback, and so it was tough to allow me to run a lot and scramble a lot, with the risk being if I go down, it would kind of be tough to fill the shoes at quarterback with no one there. But in the playoffs, we did install a couple more things, and I got a lot more comfortable running the ball, knowing that like at this point it doesn't really matter. Like if we go down, that's it. So um, being able, coach giving me the green light to use my feet was an opportunity I wasn't gonna not take. And so that first playoff game against Shen, um, and then really every game after that, I think it was another piece the defense had to guard, which made it more difficult for them, and also gave us more success on the offensive side as well.
For preseason practice, you guys can both take this if you want. I saw the schedule. Like you open with Schenectady, and then you have CBA in week 2. Does having the brothers on the schedule early in the season kind of help the urgency of camp in August as you ramp up and get ready to play for real?
Yeah, Bobby, I'll go first. Yeah, I love it. I know that Coach Burns has got those boys working every day over there, and they're going to be ready to go. They return a lot of guys, so getting to play them early, and having that is going to be a lot of fun for us. We like to have more competitive games earlier on our schedule to get us right,
Yeah.
and try getting us rid of some of the things. And if Section 2 was able to, with our scheduling, I would have tried scheduling, a top ranked opponent in the state, or looked even further, opponents. Every once in a while, we get a chance to do that. Last year, I got to schedule Monroe Woodbury, knowing that they were going to be elite, and it made it so much better in the beginning of the year. The game was sloppy, and it doesn't really matter about the outcome, but it's about what did you learn. And you're leveling up your football skills, leveling up your team, and win or lose that kind of game, it's like you learn something from it that's going to make your team better. And going up against great competition is always going to make your team better.
Yeah. Bobby, how about your perspective having CBA so early on the schedule?
Yeah, I'm a fan for it. I think it does. It's definitely going to help us, like Coach was saying. It's going to allow us to learn right away, get us at that really high level football right away, and create a sense of urgency in camp, like you were saying, right away, knowing that we have CBA week 2. I feel like people are going to be, taking drills more seriously, never taking reps off. We're always hungry. And especially when we have CBA early in the schedule, we're going to be even hungrier. And so, knowing that we have a target on our back as well, knowing that they want to come and, blow us out, it makes us excited. We're excited for it, and we're going to, do anything we can to be prepared for it. And so, like this first 2 weeks of camp, we're going to be preparing and getting ready for that CBA game.
Coach, you played for Terry Jones, a longtime Saratoga coach. What did you learn from him, if anything, that you've kind of taken into your coaching style?
You know what? There's actually a lot of things that I do that I modeled myself after with Coach Jones. He actually taught me so much football. I was thinking about it. You know, I spent my high school days getting coached by him, and then I think I got 7 years now. I think I had like 7 years as his assistant. Um, and through that process, I realized, oh my God, most of the football I know comes from this guy. And um, I remember one day he taught me, he said, if you ever want to call the offense, you need to know the offensive line. You need to know how that works. And he couldn't have been more spot on. And, I ingrained myself with the offensive line early, really fell in love with it. And I now realize like how play calling works because of offensive line play. And it's really a credit to Coach Jones steering me in that direction early in my career. And then there's toughness, right? And I always considered him a tough man. And, he wanted to make his teams tough, and he wanted his teams to play that way. And the reality is, this game is tough. And if
Yeah.
you're not tough, you don't have a chance. And that's kind of the way I take onto my team. Also finding that way to put my arm around them, love them up a little bit, but also showing them like, all right, when it's game day, we're ready to suit up and we're ready to go to war. But Terry's been a big influence for me.
Now, where are you at with your preseason preparation? When does camp open for you? And do you kind of just step by step getting ready for opening day?
Yeah, so we got our team camp in August, and then first practice is going to be August 17th. Um, all the prep right now is like let's make sure all of our basic stuff, our fundamental stuff is correct. I really like spending a lot of time in this right now, just getting the fundamentals, getting the technique right. Spending time like teaching drills so that when we get to the season, we're not teaching the drills, we're running the drills. So when you're
Yep.
running the drills, people actually get better from the drills, you know. And it's after they do it like 3 times, they realize like they start to gain skills from those drills. So try to get some of that stuff out of the way. And it's a great time to evaluate your guys. I look at this as I got a new puzzle, right? And my mom used to have those big 1,000-piece puzzles out on the table, and she would spend time putting them together, and I'm like, all right, new year, new puzzle, and I'm trying to put these pieces into spots. And I've already found out like I was going to put one piece here, and then you see a couple things, you're like, no, that ain't gonna work. All right, we're gonna try something different,
Okay.
and honestly, I probably won't figure it out till like week 5. So but we're starting right now.
Right now, for both of you, Bobby, you can go first if you like. Take me through your weekly routine. Once school starts, you have practice, your game tape. You know, coach, you have a family, Bobby. You have classes, and you're a teenager. And how do you balance the athletics with everything else you have on your plate?
Yeah, so I mean, there's definitely a balance between the academics and football itself. When school starts, after school we have our practices, usually about 2 to 3 hours. And when you're in that mode, it's that's all you're doing. It's just straight football, practicing as hard as you can. But once that's over, a lot of times, sometimes we do, team film, some extra stuff. Last year towards the playoffs, a lot of guys got together and watched film. We also do some team dinners as well, which help that team bonding, team
Yep.
chemistry thing. So we usually do those like once a week. But other than that, it's right to studying when I get home. And a lot of that does matter. Like I remember in the beginning of high school, I didn't really feel like it was that serious. I didn't really take it too seriously. But now, as I'm looking at this recruiting process, a lot of these colleges do take those grades very seriously, and so looking back, those hours studying do add up, and they do mean something for sure.
Yeah. Coach, how about you? What's a week in the life of a high school football coach of a very successful program?
I think every one of us football coaches is on the verge of divorce. Um, so you Sundays we're meeting with coaches, we're coming up with the game plan, and then Mondays, bring the guys in. You're at school all morning, but you're also communicating with your staff the whole time of like things we got to get ready for. You run the boys through practice on Monday. You show them some film and stuff like that. But then when you go home, you have all the pressures of being great. And it's the ride home that you have all the pressures of being a coach. You have all these things that are going through your head, the things that you got to accomplish, things that you got to do. But then when you pull in that driveway, you have to somehow channel that, put it aside, and remember that none of that's really important if you're not being a family man. And my kids run up to me when the car pulls up, and it's right there where I got to take everything that just happened in football and throw it to the side.
Yep.
And I don't give it any attention until my kids go to sleep. And then when my kids go to sleep, now it's time to turn that film on, start watching it, and whatever hours that puts me at night. I just feel like I wouldn't say it's balanced, but I would say it's how to be a family guy while coaching. And if that means you got to stay up extra hours at night so you could be a dad, that's what you do. So most nights it's midnight, going to sleep, wake up early in the morning and get right back after it. But you really got to be passionate about it to do it.
Yeah. Bobby, you mentioned you're also on the Blue Streak Hoops team. You mentioned the next level for you. I think beyond this upcoming season, what do you see in your future after Saratoga?
So I'm looking to play college football somewhere. I've been doing this recruiting process for about 2 years now, and it's a lot to take in. And so I've been going to a lot of camps this off season, and I also did as well last summer, all around the area, from some D1s, a couple D2s, and mostly D3s, and trying to build relationships with the coaches. And now right where I am, I'm sending in my pre-read information to a lot of colleges, and really narrowing down, where I want to go. So hopefully I can make a decision, by football season, or if I want, to extend it and get some senior film to them. Hopefully make that decision by the end of the season as well.
Awesome. Hey guys, look, I think we're all set. I really appreciate your time, and hopefully once football season begins, we can carve out a little bit of time in our days and we can all meet up again.
Awesome. Thank you.
All right.
Thank
Well,
you
good.
very much for having us. Appreciate it. And we'll find more time.
Yeah, sure
Yes,
thing.
sir.
Good luck. Enjoy camp, and I'm sure I'll see you on the sidelines one of these weeks once we hit September.
For
Sounds
sure. For
good.
sure. Thanks.
Okay, guys. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.